And a very good morning, everybody. Welcome in to another edition of the Pass and Av Sports Show. I'm your host, James Schools, and with you and with me, as always, is my group of companions on a very busy Saturday morning of, I guess you could say, a very busy sports day across the Delaware Valley, and also my Bulldogs playing Bama tonight. But joining me, like I always say, Joey Morks. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you.
Good morning. Good morning. It's going to be a nice primetime college football
Yeah,
Saturday night.
man.
You got the Bulldogs and Bama. You got Penn State and
Ooh,
Oregon. The whiteout game. It's going to be very interesting
it's gonna
college
be lit.
football Saturday. But let me introduce a good friend of the show, Damon Saleem, to the show. Damon, how you been, brother?
Good morning, good morning, good morning, Joe. Good morning, James. I'm doing well, man. Thank you. And as a sports fan,
Likewise.
I'm loving these. I'm loving where we are in our sports fandom with our Eagles, our Phillies, of course. You're gonna go to the playoffs. Sixers and
Mm-hmm.
Flyers kicking off preseason. Let me just touch base. I've been watching the past couple of years a lot of college football more so. I've always watched college basketball, but I'm really getting to college football.
Mm-hmm.
And I jumped on the Colorado bandwagon 2 years ago because of Dion.
There you go.
But when you guys mentioned tonight's game, I will be saddling watching Georgia, Alabama, and I would be curious, Joe, James, what the Eagles hotel room was going to be like tonight because you got some Georgia players and you got some Alabama players. Jalen's kind of in the middle because he's in Alabama and Oklahoma, so I wonder where his loyalty lies.
Devontae Smith and
You got Devontae.
He's going to be like
Riggs, you know.
He's gonna be like right in the middle. He's gonna be like right there. He's gonna be like, I'm Switzerland.
Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis.
Oh man, it's gonna be surrounded by a bunch of Bulldogs.
Yeah. Well, quick game. N'Kobe Dean came to my school last year.
Nice. Very cool.
Very nice guy. This is before he got injured. Very nice guy. Took pictures with the school. It was great, man. We had a ball, man. And then Jahad Dotson came after they won the Super Bowl. Another nice guy. So shout out to him.
Nice. Very
No,
good.
I mean, like that's the thing. If you're Jalen Hurts and you look at like Devontae Smith and some of his Bama guys, and then you look at the Bulldogs and you're like, we're outsized. This is like
right?
versus Giants. Like, do you see them?
Someone said we're outsized. Yeah.
Like, you see them? Like,
really?
They just killed the Rams.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm good. I'm just gonna say, go Bama, roll Tide.
Dude, I would love for someone to tweet that, just 2 seconds of that. That would be awesome. But
oh yeah. Oh hell yeah.
Be like, roll Tide. Shh, roll Tide.
High tide.
High tide.
Hi, John. Hi, Jalen. Hi, Jordan. You guys outnumber us a little bit.
A little bit.
AJ, a little help? Yeah, I'm old man.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm still reading the next chapter of Inner Excellence.
It's gonna be a fun night overall.
But let's get down to it. So, a little bit of a somber moment to start the show. We had a great loss in the, Damon brought up earlier about the Philly sports scene and how this is such a great time. I would say that this is as good of a time as it was in the 70s, with the Philadelphia Flyers being still a kind of relatively new organization into the NHL. They took the NHL by storm with the Broad Street Bullies. And one of the key pieces to the Broad Street Bullies, Bernie Perrant passed away last Saturday. It was a shock. He was 80 years old. He did so much for the area. He did so much for the Flyers. He was such a jovial, kind of fun guy. The state of the Flyers goaltender has, I've been in flux since Bernie. Yeah, we had some really good goaltenders, but I did some research, and like, despite the Flyers in the last 50 plus years making the playoffs significant amount of times with really talented goaltenders, no one goaltender has touched Bernie Perrant's stats, not even close. But I wanted to especially you, Damon, what do you remember about with Bernie in regards to Bernie Perrant?
Well, yeah, rest in peace, Brandon Perrant, man. What a legend, a Philly legend, hockey legend, Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
I was too young to remember when the Flyers went back to back. It wasn't part of my, if you will, my like remembrance of my conscience years. But by the time I was able to understand, start understanding sports, his name was always mentioned, no matter what. By that point, when I really started knowing who the Flyers was, Bobby Clark was the man. And he was actually obviously on those teams that won back to back, but I'll begin to know who he was because he was on those teams, right? His popularity was growing. Yeah, Bernie Perrant, man, did like people would say kind things about him. Always, even up to his last days of death, people were saying that they saw him a week ago, and he lit up a room. They compared him to Darren Dalton. So yeah, and God rest his soul. So they said, he loved the ladies that before he got married, respect to his wife or whatever. So he was a man, playing
The
hockey.
most interesting man in the world. That's exactly what he was, man.
Coming from another country, United States, coming to Philly, winning hockey championships. Probably James probably never had to pay for a meal, right?
No, that's true. That's absolutely true.
On the house. So man, he's a legend. Someone, even if, like I said, I did not remember seeing him play, but knowing who he was, that's awesome. Joey, I gotta kind of agree with you. I mean, we had Hextall.
Pelly Lindbergh, but Pelly Lindbergh tragically we lost.
Yeah, that was tragic with the Lamborghini when he.
Yeah.
Those two were probably the closest. I mean, you had a few after that, but as far as attaining to that level in terms of what he meant to the Flyers organization, to hockey, period, as a goaltender, and he did it at a time where the protection for goalies wasn't as great as it is now.
That's true.
It's interesting. A guy that was also on that Broadsheet Bullies team, Jim Watson, was on WIP this week, and they were talking about another goaltender for the Canadians that Bernie looked up to in '67. Took a slap shot to the face and basically saved the puck with his face, but moved his nose about 3 inches. And so he asked the coach, the goalie asked the coach, "Can I please put my mask on now?" And so that's where the goalie mask kind of emanated from. There was a point in time. Now, James, me and you have done a couple Philly Fame Legend episodes, and we had an episode that hasn't come out yet, but it will soon, about Connie Mack. And Connie Mack was an interesting cat. Connie Mack, for all intents and purposes, for those people who don't know, was a player for the Phillies and then eventually a manager for the Phillies. He actually managed the Phillies for 50 years. He was a part of the organization, I should say, for 50 years. But this is a guy that was a catcher. Now, that might not come as okay, so what? He was a catcher with no equipment.
Wow.
He didn't even have a catcher's glove. He caught with a hand. He didn't catch with a catcher's mitt. He didn't catch with pads or a helmet or any of the stuff that. Now, granted, pitchers then weren't throwing 103 miles an hour.
Yeah.
But still, the idea that this guy just said, "Okay, I'm going to go catch," and he's just going to bend down and go, "Okay, here you go," that's crazy. Bernie Perrant and being not that far removed from an era where goalie masks weren't even a thing. That padding wasn't as intrusive as it is now. You would almost say now, and I've heard this from plenty of people, ex-players that I've played with and whatnot, that goalies now wear pillows. They have pillows all over their body. They just do. And they just flop around, and it's not as technique driven. Bernie Perrant in his era lived in a situation where he didn't have the pillows. He had to kind of read the angles and figure out, okay, how do I do certain things in a way where I'm not reliant on my padding. I'm reliant on my body. two Stanley Cup championships, 2 Conn Smythes, 2 Vezinas. This is a guy that, when you talk about goaltenders for Philadelphia, is far and beyond the best of all time. But when you compare him to other goaltenders, you start to kind of mention guys like Patrick Waugh, Dominic Hasek, you know, guys like that really emulated what it was like to be between the pipes. James, I'll ask you,
Yeah.
what you're the hockey guru.
Mm-hmm.
Where is the state of goaltenders, especially for the Flyers, in comparison to Bernie Perron's era? And we want to. I would imagine the way that we're building the Flyers organization now, because we are still in rebuild mode, that we need a goaltender. Me and you have had plenty of conversations
Right.
about that.
Right.
What are the intangibles that you think we need to look for to find the next Bernie Perron?
Yeah, it's interesting. Little quick story here before I get to your pointer, Joe. Actually, this was around my 30th birthday, so it happened this year. So, I actually got a comment from Bernie Perron's wife, Jeannie, on my birthday, wishing me a happy birthday, and I was like, "Wow!" Actually, I felt a little bit nostalgic, like after after he passed away on Sunday afternoon, at Sunday morning rather, and I said to myself, was like, it's just like it was cool to see that, it's kind of cool. I don't want to make it about myself, obviously. I know it's
No,
supposed
I
to be a
don't feel
family
like
show.
that. No.
Yeah, but I think the other thing too was like it was really cool because it was like that one of the legends that we grew up watching, like Bernie, my mom and dad watched and Bernie Perron, and also our like beloved family watched Bernie Perron too, and then seeing his wife wish me a happy birthday, it was like, wow, it's like that's pretty cool, It's like sometimes it's like that random thought that you never think who would wish you a happy birthday would be like somebody like somebody that was a big icon, like a Bernie Perron wishing me a happy birthday was like, wow, I mean, and it made me feel a little nostalgic when he passed away because how much he meant to the Flyers and how much he meant to like Glenn Macnow, for an example, because him and Glenn can go back a ways about that 74-75 team. But overall, I mean, it was a real sad day to say that we lost a great legend. I mean, I grew up watching. I think it was around the time when the Flyers were relevant. I didn't see that like the goaltender situation has been a big question for the Flyers, probably going back to Bernie, if that's the right word to say.
Yeah.
Because I mean, yeah, sure, you had your Pelle Lindberghs. Tragically, he lost his life due to that Lamborghini accident. But then Ron Hextall, a couple years later, like he did his job. I mean, he did an excellent job getting the Flyers back to the Stanley Cup Finals in '97, and then also in '87 when he was the Conn Smythe. But somebody who was like more of a figure, like he was in Bernie Perron. I mean, yeah, that today is probably been the MO of the Flyers is that they still haven't found a Flyer like Bernie Perron, and we're talking almost 50 plus years ago now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think sometimes with guys like Bernie, like legends, icons in the city, maybe more so in Philadelphia than in other cities, we put them on such a platform, like it's royalty.
Yeah.
So like now they might see themselves as just another dude, but this is where the Philly fandom goes to a whole nother level. We put some of these icons as royalty, where someone like, Bernie's wife reaching out to you, it's like, wait a minute, the Queen's just, wish me a happy birthday. Like,
Right.
that's kind of the way it feels. Like when we talk about certain people like Bernie and Bobby Clark, Brian Dawkins,
Right.
Jaws, like Steve Carlton, like I've
Tom
said it
McGraw,
before.
like when he was
Right.
yeah.
Like the fact that like I came home during an All-Star game fan fest and told my dad I talked to Steve Carlton,
Right.
it's almost as though I talked to the king. Like
Right.
you talk to Lefty? I'm like, okay, calm down, relax. Who? And it's like
And it doesn't know
it
until later.
doesn't
Like,
hit me the gravity Like
Yeah.
it hit my dad obviously because it's his era,
Sure.
but
Yeah.
it didn't hit me because I didn't understand the gravity of what Steve Carlton meant to the era before. And I think
Hmm.
that's why it's so important. And for those people, as a reminder, please subscribe to Stream Punk Entertainment PA on YouTube. Follow us on all social medias: Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and whatnot. Also, follow and subscribe to Hardcore Sports Network on YouTube, and follow our social media channels on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch, and whatnot. Now, this is why I say that, because this is the reason why I didn't understand the gravity of Steve Carlton. The reason why we may not have been genuine, neither any of us here really understand the gravity of Bernie Perrant and his importance. Maybe your dad does, James,
Hmm.
but
Oh yeah.
like us, but that's why we do Philly Fame Legends,
Hmm.
because it's a matter of bringing perspective. I
Hmm.
didn't know the things that I knew about Connie Mack. I
Yeah.
didn't know the things that, some of the things that we go over about some of these players, and some of them are very extraordinary. And I feel like this generation isn't going to know the gravity in which these players held in this city. It's
Yeah.
kind of like highlighting that royalty
Hmm.
in this city. And
Yeah.
so, go ahead.
And that's the thing too, because you think about it back then. Obviously, when Bernie Perron played, there was like no such thing as like big overly protection of padding and
Yeah.
masks and all this stuff. Like basically, it's kind of like you had to be sent to had to be sent out to the wolves. Without saying sent out to the wolves, if you know what I mean. But at the same time, too, I mean, it's funny because with Bernie Peranto, I remember when he was in that Winter Classic alumni game and he made a great save, and the place was just rocking. Like it was just like Bernie Peranto in his prime, like stopping I'm trying to think about who was like a great player back in the '70s that was a big threat to the Flyers. I guess it was like
Bobby Orr.
Bobby
Bobby
Orr,
Orr.
yeah, Bobby Orr, maybe Guy Lafleur, or maybe Rocket Richard. You know, it's kind of like
Gordie
going back.
Howe.
Gordie
Gordie
Howe,
Howe.
yeah, there you go, yeah,
Howe was tough.
absolutely, yeah, or Adam Graves or something
Yeah.
like that.
So,
You
like,
know, well, not
that,
Adam Graves, but you know what I mean.
yeah. So, like, that's where I feel like we pay tribute to Bernie Perrant. And look, there's not going to be
He'll
another
be
one
missed.
like Bernie Perrant. And I tweeted it out the other day. There's an old saying that the only man who saves more people than Bernie Perrant is God.
Only the
And
Lord can say more than Bernie Perron.
yep.
Exactly right, brother.
And so right now, Bernie's up there in heaven going, "So I heard you are my rival." Uh, And God's like, wait, 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 wait. Let's get it straight. I'm not doing this with you. Like, no, I didn't play goalie. You can do what
So,
you're gonna do.
well, you know, the greatest thing about it too is that you got Gene Hart doing the commentary for that
Oh yeah.
matchup too. Gene Hart or Harry Cowles
Yep.
narrating it, or
Yep.
John Facenda narrating it.
Yep.
Oh man,
Absolutely.
I mean it's
That's
and
iconic.
also maybe Eddie Van Halen doing the national anthem. You know,
Yes.
so
But
it's like,
let
but
let's
well, all joking aside, though, yeah, all joking aside, he will be forever. He will be missed for sure.
yes,
Mhm.
absolutely. Let's get down to some brass tacks with your Philadelphia sports team. We are going to talk about your Philadelphia Phillies. The hunt for Red October is on, and the Phillies have positioned themselves quite well leading into the playoffs. They have locked up the bye, they have locked up the 2 seed. They still have an opportunity for the 1 seed. If the Milwaukee Brewers lose out and the Phillies win out, they will get the 1 seed. That is seems like a far-fetched situation. However, the Twins have nothing to play for.
Hmm.
They're still like a bottom feeder. The
Hmm.
Cincinnati Reds, who the Milwaukee Brewers are playing, are fighting for a playoff position. This is a team that is hungry to get into the playoffs because of two reasons. Number
Hmm.
one, they were counted out well before now.
Right.
And for them, this is house money. So I feel like they're going to play with their hair on fire against Milwaukee. And Milwaukee, you got a big task in front of you, because if you trip up in these next two games and the Phillies take care of business, You guys have to come to the bank in October, and
Oh
that's
yeah.
not an easy place to play. So I want to first start with you, Damon. What was your outlook? What's your outlook on what the Phillies have done A this season, and B, what do you think it means for them to lock up the second seed and possibly go for the first seed?
My outlook beginning of the season, I said they were going to do well. I thought they would contend. They had their stretch of their ups and downs, and some injuries hit. I was fortunate. My son and we were at the Red Sox game, the first one with Wheeler pitch. So I was glad to get a chance to see Wheeler pitch. That was the extra inning game, and I was telling my son about how extra innings work, and I was telling him, I was like, "Yeah, son, years ago." I said, they put the man on second base. I said, but years ago, they didn't do that. I said, some
Right.
games went to 18 innings. He's like, really, Dad? I was like, yeah, man.
Oh yeah.
It's like you played 2 games. Like it went into like 2 a.m. I said,
Mhm.
so with this new rule, it expedites things. I said, so then at that game, if you recall, I think Sosa, who I'm going to talk about, was at the plate, and it was catcher's interference. And so it was a walk-off. And everyone at the stadium, I'm looking around going, what happened? So the older guy next to me goes, hey, the catcher touched the bat. So it's an interference. I'm like, and we looked up at the screen, Phillies win the game.
Right.
For me, man, just being there and feeling the energy of the crowd, and then of course watching throughout the season. A couple of things I want to address with the Phillies. It's the common theme for them in the past 3 years, the playoffs, where their bats go cold. Be it the weather, they go cold. They're not patient. What I'm seeing now with the bottom half of the lineup is a lot of patience. Banner is one of those guys. He could take pitches. Sosa can be aggressive, but he knows how to take pitches. So because of that to me gives them an edge moving forward in the playoffs, because that was the thing against the Mets last year. They were just swinging at everything, and the Mets. I'm like, no, just take a pitch. It's gonna be a ball. So I think I like their bats. It's great that Banner was leading off when Turner was out, but I'm glad Turner will be back. Put him back down in that, you can put him in the 5th or 6th slot. Sosa's going to be huge for us, guys. Sosa's going to be huge. He's refreshed. He's back, and he's seeing the ball. I like us, man. The pitching. You got Aaron stepped up last night. He's probably going to be the 4th, which is fine. I know they were talking about asking him about coming out the bullpen. I don't see that. You're going to need him. You're going to need Aaron Nola. You're going to need Aaron Nola. I'm just saying that it's playoff baseball. It's a different level of baseball. You're going to need him coming out the bullpen. You need him in that 4th slot right now, and moving forward. I think we got a good shot, man.
Yeah. What does it say to you, Damon, that this team has done what they've done in the last month or so? Without Wheeler, without Turner, with Sosa being in and out of injured, with somewhat of a flu going around the clubhouse. What does it say to you that it's not just Schwarber and it's not just Harper, like, carrying this team? Like, they're not the ones carrying the water for the last 3 weeks. What does it say to you about this team when it's those guys stepping up?
I think it's guys getting their opportunity to show what they have, what they're capable of doing. I keep bringing up Banner. Like, I remember him with the Mets. And then we got him from what they get him from Milwaukee. I forget what team they traded for him from, but they solidified that center field position. But also,
Minnesota. We got.
I was about to say Minnesota, yeah. And then you thank you. And then you allow for another good bat in the lineup. And then so it's like a domino effect, and goes back to what I'm saying. I'm really seeing guys take pitches more so than before. That's huge for the Phillies. The Phillies are an aggressive, swinging team. I'll point in case. I'm a Castellanos fan. I feel bad what he's going through. I really do, because I'm a fan. Does he upset me when he swings at first pitches? Absolutely. However, when he's locked in, man, he can move that ball around the field. But what I do like what Cassie's doing is he's expressed himself, shared what is how he's feeling, understandably so, because he's a starter. He's making $20 million a year. But when he's had his opportunities, he's made the best of them. So what that tells me is, Joe, that everyone is on the same page. It's about winning the championship. You know,
Yeah.
whether Schwarber gets Ryan's record or not, we're not even talking about his contract. They're trying to win a World Series, and this group knows, James. This group knows now is the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah,
get
definitely.
that. We're gonna get to that question next, but I wanted to just kind of add to what you were saying. So with Castellanos, like when I saw Marsh, Stott, Sosa, when I saw Bader, and even Marchand step up in certain situations in the last 2 or 3 weeks,
Yeah,
it
like,
tells me that this team has a lot more depth than we've had in past years. Now, where I put there's a linchpin, and I've said this in the last 2 weeks. There's a linchpin to all of this that makes us from great to unstoppable, and that's Nick Castellanos. If Nick Castellanos can start hitting like consistently, I'm not asking for 400 baseball. I'm asking for 280 baseball. Like I'm asking for you to hit like 1 out of 4 in a game. That's not, obscene. My feeling is when Costi gets consistent and he gets hot, he is the linchpin. He's the bridge from the guys like Schwarber and Harper to the guys that are showing up like a Marsh and a Stott or a
yeah,
Sosa or someone like that. And that for me is the biggest linchpin. And one of the other people that I got to say we got to talk about is Otto Kemp. This is a guy
what's up,
who's
man?
a complete aberration for what we brought up. This guy was one of the top 10 prospects in the organization, but he wasn't one of the top 5. And so for this guy to come up and show his stuff not once but twice and be able to learn and pick up on the things quickly enough, that tells me that that's not just depth for this year, that's depth for the future years.
Yeah.
Now that leads me into my next question.
Hmm.
The talk of all this season has been the guys have to get it done this year
Mm-hmm.
because this might be the last ride for this unit. The Costi, Schwarber, Harper, Turner, that it might be the last ride for that core 4. Now, I gotta ask. I'll start with Damon, but I want your opinion too, James. I'll ask you, Damon. If this core 4, if this team wins the World Series, do you still believe this team and this core should be broken up?
No, because I'm always a proponent of if you win with them, run it back. However, now see the problem. So it comes down to money, and so every swore bomb that goes out the yard, that's another $3 million added to the contract. It's just the situation at hand. So that's a whole nother conversation. You have a Castellanos who you just spoke about, I spoke about. He's not coming back as a backup, a role player. He's just not. The guy. Listen, call it what you want. He's swag, cocky, whatever. That's who he is. He's not doing that. The other thing is they're going to have to bring up Crawford at some point.
Yeah.
So if you have the Marsh, Bader, center field, and Crawford right field, or however they decide to do that, that's going to be your future outfield. And so
Yeah.
that's what they're looking at down the line. So yeah, this this may be it. I like Bohm. I like Bohm a lot because he's homegrown and I like him. I would not be surprised. I'm gonna drop a bomb if they moved him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Now,
I'm not saying I want them to. By the way,
right.
I like Bohm. I like him playing third base. He's grown. He's a good defender at third base. But I wouldn't be surprised.
I'll be interested if the market has changed because they tried to trade Baum last offseason and there was no takers. So I'll be curious if the market has changed.
That's true.
I do know that there's a market for Castellanos out there, and that'll be lucrative for the Phillies to try and take advantage of.
And what they're going to do, Joe, I'm curious to hear what James. I'm gonna throw this at James too.
Sure. Yeah.
Because we don't know the status of Wheeler. Something to think about. We because you might lose Suarez too, Joe. See, that's
yep.
Like, and I know we're staying focused on the players, but we're also speaking about the truth, right? So you may lose Suarez, and then we don't know the status of Wheeler. We're hoping we can get similar of Aaron. So right now, if you broke it down, you got two pitchers, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Sanchez and Lazaro.
Yeah.
That you really, if you, I'm not saying Aaron's not a pitcher. I'm just saying we want to know that Aaron Nola. You know what? I'll say Aaron Nola's coming back. So we got three pitchers. Okay, we'll say we have three pitchers going into next season that we know can possibly do the work. So they have to take all that into account. Now back to Castellanos. Do you move him for another arm, Joe?
You
got your outfield solidified, your infield. You may need another arm.
I'll let James answer that first. Go ahead.
Well, it's interesting. It's a very good question, because especially with the core players that are going to be on the market, especially after the season's over with. So, yeah, I would love to see them try to run it back, but I do understand if they don't bring like players like Bohm, like you mentioned, Dame back, or maybe or like Nola. I mean, or even like Bohm, or well, not Nola, but more like Bohm rather. It's a good question to have, especially when it really comes down to it, especially what they are trying to do as a team. And I think the other thing that the Phillies want to do is that they kind of like what the Eagles did in 2025 when they won the Super Bowl and they got rid of some players here and there. But then again, then people, I mean, obviously, you want to bring back Schwarber. Obviously, that's going to be your first top priority. I mean, that's going to be the big storyline that's going to be coming out of off season, especially at that winter meetings, is that what they're going to look like. Is they're going to renegotiate Schwarber? Are they going to renegotiate Castellanos? I mean, there is going to be players that they're going to be moved. I mean, I guess I'm looking. I guess I'm expecting something that. I mean, the way Castellanos has played the last couple games, I mean, it's not like he's bad when it comes down to like being like. I mean, it's not like he's struggling to find his game. I mean, I think he's better as a pinch hitter more than he is actually like playing the position at right field. I mean, but then you brought up Arnold Kemp here, and I thought that's a very good opportunity to see what he looks like, especially. There's another chance that I mean, there's a couple players that I have on my bucket list that you should bring back in return, like Schwarber for an example. Maybe like Bader, you bring back Bader.
That's another one, James. Good point. His contract is out. I forgot about that.
That's true.
I'm gonna throw another one out there.
Yes, I forgot about.
I'm gonna throw another big name out there. JT Realmuto.
That's true.
His contract is up, and you know that this is one of the reasons why some people feel like it's this year or none. And but this is where I would disagree with some people, because when you think about your trade, look at some of the teams around the league. You have the Diamondbacks that basically sold their team and still have a chance of making the playoffs. You have the Cleveland Guardians that basically sold their team twice in the last 4 years and are second or third in the AL. You have certain teams that can sell and sustain success because it depends on what you get back in return. We can all agree that we didn't think Harrison Bader was going to be what he is when we made the trade.
That's true.
But when we made the trade, and now that we have that guy in house, we find ourselves in a situation where it's like, now the conversation isn't, well, is he a rental? It's, how do we sustain him? How do we retain him?
I don't think Dombrowski traded for him as a rental.
No, I don't either. I don't either. But I think other people would view that a guy that gets traded with a contract running out at the end of the season is a rental. But this is what I would say. So there was an interview on WIP this past week with Dave Dombrowski, and the conversation was had about Kyle Schwarber and that price tag going up every time he hits a home run.
Yeah.
Dave Dombrowski, so Kyle Schwarber's agent is the same one as Walker Bueller's agent. And in the last 2 or 3 weeks or last month
It's
or so,
Scott Boras, is it?
It's Boris.
no,
It's
no,
Boris.
no, no, no,
It's not Boris.
it's not
Oh,
Boris.
yeah. Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
So, because if it were Boris, believe me, there would be a lot more conversation. But
Yeah.
Walker Bueller, his agent is the same as Kyle Schwarber. So when Dombrowski signed Walker Bueller in about a month or so ago, he walked up to the agent and said, "Okay," he's like, the agent brought up, Kyle Schwarber, like, "Can we have a conversation?" He's like, "Yeah,
Mhm.
can you tell your guy, uncle, please stop, please. Well, I get it. Like, I get the point. Like, he's going to get the money. Can you tell him to stop? Like, he can continue to hit, but can you tell him to kind of cap the money somewhere?" And the agent, I'm sure, is like, "Dave, I can't do that." It's like it's like Hal from 2001 Space Odyssey. "Dave, I can't do that." This is the interesting thing is I think Kyle Schwarber is going to get his bag. I think he's going to get his bag. I think he's going to stay with the Phillies. The unfortunate thing, I think, is that you are going to have to you are going to have to lose a guy like JT Realmuto and a guy like Ranger Suarez. And you are going to have to trade a guy like Nick Castellanos and an Alec Baum because you're going to need that money. Look, Kyle Schwarber, in my mind, is going to demand upwards of $40 million a year. You put that together with 4 years, you're talking about $160 million contract for 4 years.
Right.
Now, I am not saying by any stretch of the imagination that guy's not worth that money, because he damn sure is. He is the modern day Babe Ruth. And I will continue to say that until the day he retires. He is the modern day Babe Ruth. And folks, this is the Yankees. This is when Babe Ruth came to the Yankees and started smashing balls out of the yard. This is Kyle Schwarber's Yankees. You have to not be dumb and let that guy walk out the door. Now, that being said, you're going to lose some key assets. Now, this is where I'll go to Damon's point about Alec Baum and Nick Castellanos and that trade. It's what you get back to replace the people you lose, like a Ranger, like a JT. Can we get can we get a certifiable catcher? Marchand and Stubbs are not going to be your catcher for your future. I'm sorry. I love Stubbs. I think Marchand's serviceable backup, but I don't think either are to the level and caliber of JT Realmuto. And I like JT. I just know you're not going to be able to pay JT. You're not going to be able to pay, in a world where you can pay everyone, you're not going to be able to pay everyone in this situation.
I heard that come up, Joe, and
it's a good point.
They said they might be able to get him like for like a 2-year deal. Like, I don't know how much money he's asking for. The other thing, I think like a guy like JT, he's been here for, I don't know, 5, 6 years. I forget how many years he's been here now.
Yeah.
But I know we got him when he was free agent with the Marlins. They traded for him from the Marlins. I can't remember. I think they traded for him. Yeah,
we traded for the Marlins. I think we traded him
We traded our catcher Alfaro.
Jorge
Alfaro and Sisto.
Sisto Sanchez. That's right.
That's right. Yeah, and so, and I'm not saying you're wrong in regards because it's going to come down to the money, but I think it also comes down to how much he's willing to accept or not accept, or that whole deal. And then also for them, you're right. Marchand's not ready to be lead catcher, because it's not just about the bat being at the plate with a catcher. It's how he's calling the game with those pitchers. And so for him, if you don't have anybody as close to him coming up, then you have to figure out some things. I think JT will be a thing where it's like, listen, JT, we're going to get to you. Let's talk. Let's figure out some things over here. But I will say, and when because Bader, James brought it up, I forgot he's on last year of his contract. So
Yeah, it'll be interesting for sure.
Now
they got some decisions to make.
there's a mutual option for Bader, so it's not as though we would have to pay Bader a lot of money. It would just be picking up the option, which is
Oh, he has
fine.
an option here.
Yeah, it's a mutual option year. It's a player/club
Oh,
option.
so that gives you some
So
time.
he could decline it, but I'm imagining Bader being in this city, being with this team. I find it difficult for him to decline still wanting to be here.
Yeah.
And if the price is right, I find it difficult for the club to say no. This is now, you guys brought up about Castellanos and the swag and the cockiness. I call it a different thing. I call it a competitor. Look, I understand
I like it.
that Nick wants to be the starter. That
Mhm.
Nick says, I'm good enough for this. Now, I am also a guy that says you have to put up or shut up. Now, Nick didn't, when he was starting the first 100 games of this season, he wasn't putting up astronomical numbers.
No.
I don't blame Rob Thompson for doing what he did. And Nick has to understand, okay, I'm getting up in age. I am not the same player I once was. And that's okay. But you have to, okay, not to quote The Rock, but you got to know your role and shut your mouth. You got to understand that right now your role is not a starter. Your role has to be whatever it is to make the team better. Now, that being said, I agree with Damon. He's not going to come back next year and be a bench warmer or be a platoon guy. He's just not going to be that. That being said, if you know you're going to lose a Ranger and you know you're going to lose a JT and you know you have an Aiden Miller or an Otto Kemp or whatnot to take over for Alec Baum, my feeling is you trade Castellanos and Alec Baum for a catcher and an arm. That's it. So you look for the best deal that includes those things. Now, am I saying by any stretch that the catcher you're going to get is going to be at the caliber of JT Realmuto? No. Now, one of the teams that could be a potential trade partner is the Baltimore Orioles because their catcher right now is doing very well. He's young. He's got great defensive skills. He's done well. Now, this kind of goes to Damon's point. He doesn't do well with the pitchers, meaning he doesn't call good games. Can that be fixed? We'll have to find out. And we'll have to find out if that's a deal that Dombrowski does. But you got to think if they get rid of Baum and Castellanos money, you give and JT's money, that basically is Kyle Schwarber's salary. Like Castellanos and JT's salary that they're making right now, you add that together, that's basically where you're paying Kyle. And I'm more than fine with that. More than fine with that. Because it's as Damon said, you have Marchand, Bader, and Crawford. That's a decent outfield. You're also going to have Max Kepler. You're also going to have Otto Kemp that can Weston Wilson. You're also going to have some depth. Am I saying they're going to blow your mind? No, but right now they're getting at bats and they're looking quality. Now I got to go right to my guy. I got to go right to my guy and ask this question. Kyle Schwarber, 56 home runs. This is a guy that is closing in on Ryan Howard. Now, I'm with Damon. Whether he surpasses Ryan or not, to me, it's been an amazing season to watch.
Yeah.
An amazing season to watch. He joins the likes of Aaron Judge, Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, Mickey Mantle, Matt Olson. Like these guys.
Kyle Rowley too.
Yeah. Well, Kyle Rowley's on another planet.
He's on another heat. He's on another planet.
He's an alien.
Yeah, for sure.
From another world. Like there's no doubt in my mind. Like he's like an alien from another world because there's not a chance in hell. I mean, Seattle right now with Joe Rod and Kyle Riley and some of the other, they're going to be a threat. I mean, AL, like if they got prospects that are still coming up the farm system.
Yeah.
So good luck to those people in the AL West. But
I'm not sure. I'm not gonna. What do you call it? I'm not like. I mean, I think that might be a big good ALCS will be Cleveland and Seattle.
I think
I agree with that, James.
I agree with James. And you know what I want to see? I want to see a World Series where it's the Seattle Mariners versus the Philadelphia Phillies.
Schwarber versus Raleigh.
Yeah, I want to see.
Man.
I want to see that spectacle
Nice.
because that will be good for baseball.
Nice.
I gotta ask though, all the names that I named, all of them have won MVPs. Okay, my question to, for the most part, my question to you, Damon, can we put to rest? Can we put to bed that Kyle Schwarber is the undoubtable MVP of the NL this year? Or is there a line of doubt that home runs and a DH should not be an MVP?
No, I think didn't Big Papi win an MVP with the Red Sox as a DH?
He did.
MVP?
I think he did.
And
Yeah, I
Shohei
think you're
Ohtani
right.
won it last year as a DH.
Yeah, a few times. Yeah, I mean, listen. I mean, Ryan Howard, although he obviously played first base, won MVP, Rookie of the Year. I don't think because he's playing DH. If anything, that's harder to me because I look at sports. You know, you're moving around and keeping your body warm. He has to mentally stay prepared to go to that plate to do his damage. And so, and on top of that, the capper. When I look at those awards, two things come into play for me. One, how well the player is playing, but also how well his team is doing. Right, your team is in first place because of your 56 home runs. Your team is in first. Your team gets a bye because of your 56 home runs. Right. So, he's definitely an MVP of the league, without a doubt. When Harper won it, he was bombing. You know, so yeah, because he's a DH, shouldn't be held against him, not at all.
Yeah, Philly halftime checks in and he says, obviously, he says good morning to everyone. But he's got a question for you, Joe. He says, the question is, how can you put Schwarber in the modern Babe Ruth category, and how are you putting him in that same category as Babe Ruth?
Because if you look back at Babe Ruth, his career took off later in his career. He did not have a good start to his career. He only had a better start when he joined the Yankees after being a Red Sox. Like his later in his career. Plus, I put him as a guy that was not the most athletic guy. Like he was not a Gold Glover. He just was one thing and one thing only, a hitter. He was a guy that's why, like, this guy was Babe Ruth was basically the equivalent of a guy that could be a mercenary for any team, could go on and hit the ball out of the yard at any point in time whenever he wanted to. Kyle Schwarber is that same type of mercenary. So you look at the numbers for Babe Ruth towards the end of his career, and you look at the numbers with Kyle Schwarber at his career right now, and they're very comparable. And so I put him as the modern day Babe Ruth. And I stand by that because I think that, he's the guy that's going to continue to smash the ball out of a lot of ballparks. 33 home runs in CBP this year. 33. You think that guy's not happy he came to a city and a team and a stadium that he gets to launch that many home runs out of a ballpark?
Yeah, Philly halftime it comes back and says Schwarber cannot tie Babe Ruth's cleats. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
Okay, in that same vein, he has more home runs in a season than Babe Ruth ever had.
But he also says, if you said Ryan Howard, I could agree with you. Not Babe Ruth, though. I'll just quote Robert Redford. I'll say he's the natural. Like because he hits like baseball, like into the lights. If you know what I mean.
I'll just say he's Kyle Schwarber. I'll just say
he's Kyle Schwarber. That's all that matters, right? Exactly right, brother.
Well,
I get Joey's point. I just found it.
Look, I will say this. You also have to keep in mind the difference between Kyle Schwarber and Babe Ruth is Babe Ruth did it when he was a drunk.
Yeah, he was.
I'm just saying.
He
The
was.
guy drank before and after every game. Kyle
Yeah.
Schwarber takes care of his body.
So you're trying to say that some of Babe Ruth's home runs was just by accident?
Well, I guess they had to be because he saw 3 different balls coming down the strike zone. Hit the one in the middle, babe. Hit the one in the middle. So yeah.
Oh my God,
Joey, dude doesn't know who he's messing with.
Yeah. This ain't that.
I love you, Joe, but I mean, I'll just say he's just Kyle Schwarber. He's just him. That's all I gotta say.
Well, look, anyone can disagree, but here's where I would go.
I just want to light Joey's fuse with the cleats.
If you
That's funny.
look at the numbers for
Yeah.
Babe Ruth to the last 5, 6 years of his career, and you look at Kyle Schwarber's, both batting average, home runs, hits, it's comparable. And then towards the end with Babe Ruth, the one thing he did that Kyle also does is he got a lot of walks. Now, I think he got a lot of walks because of the lineup the Yankees had. Like, don't get me wrong, Babe Ruth wasn't the only good player on that Yankees team. So, that was a dangerous lineup as much as this Phillies lineup is dangerous. So, I think he complement. I think if you put Kyle Schwarber on the Colorado Rockies, it's not the same guy because he's got no protection.
No.
Like, so you're not going to get a guy who's going to hit 56 home runs because they're just going to walk him or they're just going to pitch around them. They're not going to give him anything he can hit.
And the other thing too,
which lineup, he has the ability to be protected.
The other thing with Schwarber too is that he's just so good at. I mean, it will be different if the Phillies were in like the team they are now. It's kind of like Paul Skeens with the Pirates. Like everybody talks about how great Skeens is, but the team around him sucks. It's kind of like I gotta say right now. I mean, what Schwarber has been doing the last year, and also this season rather, I thought he was probably one of the best players in all of baseball, other than Cal Raleigh. I think him and Cal Raleigh are probably by far having their best seasons of all in baseball.
I will say this though, James. It's not just this year. I mean, this year's
this has been going on for a while.
I mean, the last 3 or 4 years, this guy has been hitting 40 plus home runs every year.
Yeah,
since he's been a Philly. I mean, and this guy hasn't necessarily been like Bryce Harper, who's been locked in the 3-hole.
Yeah,
this guy's been moved to the 4-hole, moved to the leadoff, moved to the 2nd hole. Like, this guy's been moved all around the lineup, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This guy hits home runs as though it's his job. Oh, wait, it is his job.
I like him better in the 2nd hole, though, than the 2-hole.
Well, I do, too.
Let me ask you this. I was going to ask you guys about this, too, and I'm glad you brought it up now. Since Trey Turner's coming back this weekend now, and then he's going to get ready for the postseason push, what do you do with Trey Turner? Do you keep Bader as the leadoff guy, or you put Trey as the leadoff?
I'll put Trey back. I put Trey back right in that leadoff. He's been consistent all year with it. Put Bader back down. You could do Bader either 5th or 6th.
Yeah, I agree.
Because what Bader's done, what Bader's done for me. So when you had Rojas in there, right? It was almost like it was pitchers when the National League had like pitchers take bats. Rojas gave you nothing at the plate, and I wanted him to, but the awareness is so it's not there, whatever. So
I would put Bader as the cleanup guy. I'll put Bader at
you put him at 4th.
I would think so.
I don't know. I would put
who is our cleanup guy actually?
Bombs.
See. But
you see,
but then it goes to Baum's a righty, Bader's a righty.
Baum's, that's right. Yeah, jeez.
So no, but Jane, no, I see what you're looking at. I get it, but I also think that if you drop him another slot down, which is done, that back into that lineup is because here's the thing, man. The guy that's turned it around for me, and I'm happy for him, is Stott.
Stott's been great.
You talk about Costi at the 101st one. Stott was I'm like, Stott, what happened to you? What you want this?
I was
guy
doubting him too, man. I was doubting him too.
Both.
You want to talk about little adjustments that make a bigger difference.
Well, they said they made an adjustment to his bat.
They made an adjustment to his the way he holds his bat.
That's what I mean. The way he holds his bat.
So
yeah.
He was holding it lower. Now there's no, hold it higher. So that way, when you come through the zone, you're coming down balanced.
It's like a golf swing
instead of a golf swing, right?
Right.
And so, but it wasn't just the golf swing, James. It wasn't that he was just popping it up. When you come down at the golf swing, the problem that people don't realize that gives the pitcher an advantage because all they have to do is pitch you up high because your bat's going to go below it. It'll go right underneath it all the time. But if you have a level swing, it's harder to be able to pitch below the zone and not accurately. Let's put it that way.
That's why he's able to hit those low pitches and hit fouls and things like that.
Right.
And once they made that adjustment, because remember, he was platooning for a minute himself.
Yeah.
He was like, forget this. I'm gotta get back in the starting lineup. So
keep in mind, this is a guy that could win the Gold Glove this year.
Right.
At second base.
He could. He really could.
So we need him, right? So now they had him hit ninth at one point. So I'm gonna go back to Rob Thompson. Rob Thompson, thank you. And Joe, you touched upon it. With him having to move Casty out of the lineup, it might have saved the season.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah,
because all of a sudden, like you said, the Kemps, the Ottos, the Wilsons, they're now hitting and getting opportunities, and Stott changing his bat. We get Bader coming in. So no, he's got a really good problem. But that lineup, however he puts it out there, it's going to be dangerous. It's going to be dangerous,
like you got to think about it from this perspective, James. The reason why I put Turner at the leadoff is because he's basically the best hitter in the league right now.
And he can steal bases.
Right. And so his batting average right now is on par where he can win the batting title.
Yeah, he's nice.
And so, here's my thing. You put that guy at the leadoff, and then you have someone like Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper, Alec Baum, JT Realmuto, or Nick Castellanos at that 5-hole, and then Bader at the 6th, and then you're worried about the 7, 8, and 9, which could be Stott, Marsh, and Otto Kemp or Max Kepler or whoever. It really does open up the lineup when you have Turner and you move Bader down. Because just like Schwarber, I don't think Bader is going to be shook that he goes down in the lineup. I think it's just going to be that bridge that we need. And this is why Castellanos is so important, because if you have Castellanos at the 5 or the 7, you need to get to Marsh and Stott so that they can flip the lineup back over. I mean, who's your easy out? If Nick Castellanos isn't your easy out, who in that lineup is your easy out if you're an opposing pitcher? It's tough to say.
It's probably Castellanos. If it's the easy out, I've got to go with Castellanos.
Right. At this point, but if he becomes more consistent, he isn't then the easy out. If I can somehow figure out how to say to Castellanos, if you could be more consistent, and this is where the platoon.
I guess I got to go with Kepler or not Weston Wilson. Obviously, that'll be a pinch hitter. Well, let's keep it real. Weston doesn't have to play it.
But my point is to you, James. At least Rob Thompson has that option for Max Kepler or Castellanos. But either way, either player has to be ready. Has to be ready to be that linchpin, that consistent bat, because otherwise they are the easy out in the lineup.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to say, when you have an easy out in the lineup, it builds momentum for the pitcher.
Halftime makes a good point here. I want to get back to the point about how we could critique the lineup if we wanted to. So he says he would have Turner, Schwarber, and Bader hit third, and also Harper at 4th.
No. I don't like Harper. I don't like Harper cleanup. Harper's nice at third.
We're not
again. It's just that
it's not doing the lefty righty thing.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
We're
what I'm
not
saying.
doing that.
No.
Because I would rather have back-to-back righties or back-to-back lefties if it meant putting more pressure on the starting pitcher.
But
Bader is not a 3-hole hitter.
It's probably like either Bohm or JT, but I mean, that's the thing about with Bader being a cleanup guy. It's just like then it's just like
Well, he's not even saying cleanup. He's saying 3.
He's like
I'm
number
not,
3. It's like kind of like he's like Chase Utley again.
He wants to move Harper. First of all, you're not moving Harper because those guys are. You guys know this. Baseball players are about habits. I mean, Schwarber, said, I'll go from lead off to second. Harper's not leaving that third spot. He doesn't want to. He doesn't have to.
Yeah, we tried that experiment. It failed.
Right. And the other thing is when you're putting the beauty about baseball, when it was explained to me back in the 90s, even though I watched, and I was like, sometimes, I watch, it seems a little boring, but I watch. And when a person broke it down to me between the batter, the pitcher and the batter, and it made sense. I just locked in. And so the science of it is so unique. So when you have 2 back-to-back lefties, I love a lefty in any sport, baseball, basketball, football, because they're unique to be a lefty. That's what made
Thank you.
Jimmy Rollins so unique because he was a switch hitter, right? So when you have
I'm a lefty, so thank you.
Yeah. My grandmother's a lefty, my uncle's a lefty, and they think differently, the whole shebang. Yeah. So when you have 2 back-to-back lefty bombers, that puts pressure, Joe. Tell him on the pitcher.
By the way, to throw another stat out there, Kyle Schwarber, the guy that's not Babe Ruth, is
Jesus.
Well, he lit the fire. He lit the fuse.
I knew it.
I know he did. I know he did, pal. I know.
Kyle Schwarber has the record for the most home runs in MLB history. Has the record for the most home runs against a lefty. Yeah. The only other there's only one other person that he can beat like total, and that's Cecil Fielder, and I forget who the other one was. It was someone else from older than Cecil Fielder. Someone from like Cecil Fielder. Yeah. So, but my point of view is still this. Kyle Schwarber hits off of lefties.
Mm-hmm.
So that idea of, well, you don't want to have back-to-back lefties, that's null and void. Right. Because Kyle Schwarber has proven he can hit off of lefties. So I'm not worried about that. Bryce Harper is just a threat. You put him at the first inning, the 3-hole, with someone like Kyle Schwarber who knows how to work a walk or work a hit. You have Trey Turner on base. He's the leading going to win the batting title. So he'll be on base. And then you put Bryce Harper to 3. This is why I don't move. Right. But this is why I don't move Bader to the 3, because that's not going to work. You have a possibility of kind of hitting into a double play. And now you got a guy on third base with Bryce Harper up versus having Bryce Harper up with 2 men on and nobody out. I'd rather have the one with nobody out and 2 men on. I want to get to my next question because this one kind of chimes into what Damon said early on in the program. If the Phillies were to win the World Series this year, would you guys consider this era, this moment in time, this window of time, to be the best window of time in Philly sports history? It would be 2 championships in 8 months.
Wow.
So I want you guys to just chew on that for a minute because we talked about.
So you say we're Boston now.
Well, no, let's not get that far. Let's not go there.
Hey, I could dream. I can always dream.
Yeah, but I ain't cocky like Boston. I ain't gonna go to the bar.
I'm not saying we're not. I ain't saying we're gonna be chowder heads, man.
And deal with the tar. No, I ain't gonna do that. So this is what I'm saying is when we talked about Bernie Perrant earlier in the program, you know, that though the 70s for the Eagles, Sixers, Phillies, they were but the Flyers were thriving. In the 80s, you had the Eagles going to the Super Bowl, but you know, the Phillies kind of being there, and then in 83, you kind of had the Sixers kind of thriving and they did their thing, but you never had 2 championships from 2 separate teams in a city within this short of window of time. So I got to ask, if the Phillies win the World Series this year, and we are looking at 2 championships in this city within 8 months, I got to ask, Damon, I'll start with you. Is this the best era in Philly sports history?
It would be one of the best. It would
What
be
would
one
be
of the
the
best. And the reason it would be one of the best, I mean, championship to championship, but the best to me, and only one team won, was when all teams went to the championships in the same season. That
80, right?
that has never been, that's never been. And unfortunately, and I remember the Flyers.
Stickler.
Yeah, with the missed call. Then with the Eagles losing to the Raiders in New Orleans. That's why it's like when we won in New Orleans, it's kind of redemption. But they lose that game, and I remember watching that, and we got smoked. The Sixers, Kareem goes down, and we thinking we got a shot, and Magic's a rookie, beats us, and then here comes the Phillies, October of '80. Phillies versus the Kansas City Royals. Schmidt against George Brett. Against George Brett. 2 third basemen, home run hitters. The Phillies win the whole shebang. It was exciting, man. And as a kid to experience that, I really believed at the time that was the norm, because you got to remember, now I'm in the era where all these teams are going to the playoffs every year. The Sixers are going to the championships back to back, but losing, not finally winning in '83, or coming close to it, like be it the Eastern Conference Finals. The Phillies were battling. I'm a kid of going against the Dodgers and coming up short and finally getting over the hump when they bring in Pete Rose. Although that first year Rose was here, they didn't win it. They had to win it the second year he was here. So all those elements that was going on. Now, flash forward to where we are now. No, Joey, this is great. This is this is what you want as a Philly sports fan of your hometown team. This is what you dream of. But I would say, will it be phenomenal? Absolutely. But even though, again, only one team won during that era, to get that's unique, man. That's unique.
James, same question.
Well, I'll go back to ways that I would say probably closer to 1980, but it was my own 1980. Obviously, it was 2010, because you think about it, that was the year the Flyers went to the Stanley Cup Finals, historical comeback over Boston, down 3-0 in Game 7, down 3-0 in the best of 7. Winning that series, I thought the Flyers couldn't be beat. And then that year also was Roy Halladay. That same year, that Roy Halladay was just had a stellar season all year long. Sixers were starting to find their footing with Doug Collins. Eagles had Michael Vick. The problem was, obviously, there was no championships that year, obviously. But that, to me, was the reason why I always respect 2010 as part of my own, because I always say, that became my fandom as a sports fan, as a Flyers fan, as an Eagles fan, as a Sixers fan, and as a Phillies fan. But to your point, though, Joe, about this team could be the best team in modern history, in 8 months winning 2 championships. I mean, that's pretty big to see the Eagles win that Super Bowl against Kansas City in February, and then flip the script to October and see the Phillies win a World Series. It's like, I want this to be the norm. I know I went on my rant like 6 years ago about the, dare I say, new norm of Philly, but I want it to be more of a content, more of a
content. Yeah.
Content. Yeah. I want it to be going to Broad Street every single year and celebrate a Super Bowl or a World Series. I mean, I'm literally a couple blocks away from it now, so I don't have to take a subway or
I'm literally around the corner. So
literally around the corner. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So basically, I can go to CBP, and right then and there, I can, if they're celebrating at CBP, I can just get like a ticket like right at the door and just celebrate away. But this is a good time for other teams, especially like the teams like the Flyers and the Sixers, look at this and say, okay, the Eagles got to where they were in February. The Phillies, on the other hand, are looking to try to do the same as the Eagles did. And hopefully the Flyers will be, hopefully in a couple years from now, and are actually moving one step further this year too. Sixers, I mean, it's going to be like hit and miss depending on the injury front. So I'm not saying I'm skeptical yet about what they'll look like, but hopefully one day we'll see that all four of our teams win a championship again, like the Sixers and the Flyers, like I mentioned. I mean, but I think the one thing that's really the amazing thing is too. You remember back in 2008, right? I was like 13 years old at the time, and I guess you guys were like obviously adults at the time. The Eagles went to the NFC Championship game that year against Arizona, and they could have played the Steelers in the Super Bowl, and that could have easily, like the Phillies winning a World Series, and 4 months later you're seeing the Eagles win the Super Bowl. So I mean, it's kind of like we had that same kind of feel we have again around the same time, because the Eagles winning a Super Bowl like they did in February and see the Phillies win it now. I mean, it will be a little bit of a montage of 2010, like I mentioned, in 1980, like you brought up, Damon. And I think it'll be a montage to all the Philly sports fans that haven't seen a championship in their lifetime, see two in their lifetime. It's pretty cool to see, gonna admit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the next questions, I'm going to put Damon on the hot seat before we switch gears. Damon, Philadelphia Phillies. Simple question. Will we see a World Series championship?
Oh yeah, man. Here's my reasons. I like where they are. I like that the fact that they'll get a break, rest the bodies, but not a break where they're going to be sitting home doing nothing. They have a plan. I think they're going to play some type of I forget how they call it, whatever squad game, inter squad game, or whatever they're going to.
By the way, tickets went on sale for that inter squad game about 13 minutes ago.
Are you serious?
So, yeah.
Seriously?
$10 tickets. Go to Phillies.com.
Wow.
That's
how about that?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I like where they are. I think the key thing for them, and it's funny how you, James, and I were just speaking about the lineup. If they can remain patient at the plate, the one thing the Phillies do, Joe, James, that I like as a team, they know how to get that starter out of the game.
Yeah.
They know how to get that pitch count up. So that's why I'm definitely with Joe on the Turner, Schwarber, Harper first three in the lineup, because now you start getting that pitch count up. You got a Bohm, you got a Bader. They're going to run it up. A Marsh, we even get into Marsh. Marsh turned the season around, so they're taking pitches now. Hopefully by the fourth inning in the playoffs, James, you got to go to your bullpen.
Right.
So if they can somehow catch a rhythm like that with their pitching, yeah, man, I got us going, man. I got us going and winning, man. I'm not afraid of Milwaukee, whoever else. They could beat those teams.
It's a very good point that you bring up there, Dame, too, because you think about it, because that's what happened a couple of nights ago with the Phillies at one day were no hit by Shohei Ohtani, and then the bullpen came in, and then after that, the floodgates happened. So, I think that's the thing too with this Phillies team. It's that they go cold for like maybe 2 or 3 innings, and then like in the 5th and 6th inning, they just phase on all cylinders. It's unbelievably exciting, man.
And real quick, they're also finding ways to score early lately. Yeah. They're starting to find that, which is good.
Right.
And they play 27 outs. And the other part of that, which I know a lot of people have talked about, they play ABC baseball as much as they hit home runs. I know a couple days ago where they hit home runs, a franchise record, 8 home runs.
That was crazy.
A home run derby broke out at CBP. I was like, okay.
How about Sosa, right? Armando Sosa, showing off his hitting.
He has 11 total home runs this season. He has 4 in the last week.
Yeah.
Had his under Jimmy Rollins right there.
Yeah. So we're going to switch gears from a potential championship team to the championship team.
Yes, sir.
The champs are here. We are looking into the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But before we do, I got to get Damon's reaction. Last week against the LA Rams, If that wasn't the biggest nail biter of a freaking game,
Yeah.
I don't know what is. Because when the Rams lined up for a field goal, a 43-yard field goal, I was like, oh God, we're gonna lose. I'm like, and then all of a sudden I hear it's blocked. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what now?
Yeah.
And then, to hear who it was, Jordan Davis.
Yeah.
Now, we have been waiting for the real Jordan Davis to please stand up.
And he did.
I gotta ask.
Mm-hmm.
First off, it's a two-part question. First off, what were your feelings leading into the field goal and after? And then what do you think this is the Jordan Davis that the Philadelphia Eagles fans have been waiting for?
Yeah, I'll go to the first part first. So I'm in the thread with my brother and a few other guys, and when the top of the third quarter, when Jalen fumbles, the one guy says it's game over. I didn't respond. I'm being honest with you guys. I'm being honest with you. I didn't respond. I can't say I thought it was over. I just said we just need to get something going, right? So boom, moving forward, start moving the ball, hitting AJ, hitting Devontae, hitting Goddard with the touchdown to set things off. So at that point, I'm starting to feel good. Now when he hits Smitty, Joe, with the touchdown, that's the same route Smitty runs in the middle of the field, James. That side play, right? It's just this time he hits him in the end zone. So I'm like, defense, just hold the Rams, right? No, so because we took the lead, I'm like, just hold them.
Right.
Freaking Stafford drives him down the field. So at this point,
I'm
a weirdo. I have Merle and Mike on the radio, and
as
then
do
I
I.
have the TV up, and so I think somebody said, "Well, they didn't lay down," and I was like, "Yeah, they didn't," but I still wanted to win. But I'm not going to tell you I believe that was going to happen. I just didn't. I was just saying
we gone that far to go that far.
I'm like, let me just see what happens. Right? So now he blocks it. No, let me go back. He blocks the first one earlier, right?
Carter did. Yep.
He blocks the first one. Boom. And then Pete, let me go back on that drive before. This is not talked about because I watched the replay. On the drive before they hit Devontae with the touchdown, freaking Saquon spins for a 3-yard first down to give us first and goal. That was huge.
Yeah.
Because now we got 4 fresh downs to start with. So now we get the touchdown, boom, boom, boom. We move downfield back to this field goal. Joe, I'm watching, and when he kicked it and did it, I'm like, yo! My wife's upstairs in the master bedroom, and he's running. I'm just screaming, yo, the whole time. I know my neighbors can hear me because I have an enclosed porch and, we're close by. Dude, I was just elated. The reason why I go back to I didn't throw in the towel, this team has a fight, man, that I've seen. So I know they're never going to just roll over and just get kicked. They're not. That's not who they are. They're going to fight. And they found a way and they fought. Was a little luck in there? Yeah, perhaps, whatever you want to call it. But they found a way to fight, and I was just elated, man. I was elated, bro.
Here's the way I kind of looked at it. So when I was listening to the game and whatnot, I was like, okay, they're lining up for a field goal. I'm like, other kickers have missed 43-yard field goals. He can shank it. Like, that's possible. I'm like, all right. So I'm like, okay, I'll keep hope alive. Just a bit. And then I hear it got blocked, and I'm like, well, who blocked it? What's going on? What is happening? It's like chaos.
Mm-hmm.
And then I hear Jordan Davis picks up the ball and he's running. Now later on, the next day,
he was hall-tailing.
Right. The next day, I hear Jordan Davis was running 18 miles an hour. Some metric measured this. He was running 18 miles an hour down the field.
Yeah.
And then people are like, well, how is he able to do that? I'm like, y'all forget the combine. Yeah. This guy ran a 4.64 40. He's 330 pounds.
Yeah.
Soaking wet.
When I saw that in the combine, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like,
and he runs like, and he ran like he actually ran like James Harrison a little bit.
Well, So let me go back because I had the second part of your question.
Sure.
It was a play Reggie White, the late great Reggie White, did years ago as an Eagle when he recovered a sack, a fumble sack, and he ran it back and he was huffing and puffing. That play reminded me of that. Now you asked me, you asked the question to us: is this the Jordan Davis that we was expecting? Yeah, but here's how I am with particularly any player that we draft. It's rare where you're going to get a Magic Johnson to win you a championship in your first year. It's rare to get I'm trying to think of another player that wowed, it's rare to get a Dan Marino to go to the Super Bowl in his rookie year.
That's true.
That's not the norm. It's just not. And I bring those two up, and these are obviously two legends that I brought up, but I brought that up to say, for me, I give any rookie a 3 to 5 year grace in any of the sports. It's a whole nother world. I get that they're drafted high. I get that they come out with all of the intangibles or what people expect, the expectations, excuse me. So for me, he had to figure his way in this league. So when he said it best, Joe, he said it started last year. So by the time he came back this year, and you could see, I was like, damn, when I saw him, I'm like, yo, dude, you can see the weight loss, right? But you can also see the strength. And so what you got, you never got a lazy young man out of Georgia. You got a young man who had to learn how to be a pro. So that's why we have to give these guys. Let's take Maxey, okay? Maxey was thrust into a situation when Ben Simmons was still here. Ben Simmons decided the next year he doesn't want to play. Then Harden comes in. Maxey had to grow up quick. Now he's into his own, but it took a few years, right? So you can't expect, again, it's rare to get a Magic and a Dan Marino to do what they did in their rookie years. That's not the norm. It's just not.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
I'll say this much: it's kind of like the Flyers when Michkov a little bit. Like he's got to find his he's got to find his footing a little bit, and that's why they probably brought in like a Trevor Zegras.
He's a baby.
Yeah,
he's
a
great player. We know Michkov is going to be great, but we have to be patient.
Yeah. I mean, we also have to keep in mind, like both Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, like as Damon just said, like they're both kids. Like this isn't a 30-year-old. Like whether you want to, we talk about Jalen Carter and some of like his maturity. I'm like, he's a freaking kid. Like he's getting called out. And he makes mistakes, but kids make mistakes. You have to give them the runway to make those mistakes and learn from them. And Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis have learned from their mistakes.
The other thing too about it is that, sure, Jalen Carter's a little bit of a move sometimes, sometimes. But overall, I think the other thing that I look at it too is that he's not a bad player. He's just got to keep it. He's just got to keep his discipline in check. Obviously, the Micah Parsons spit was a little bit unexpected. The discipline penalty last week that got him back at around the 9-yard line. I mean, that's the shit that pisses me off a little bit. Not gonna lie to you, but at the same time too, it's like I understand that he's still trying to figure out his maturity level yet.
Well,
it's kind of like what Joel Embiid was early on in his tenure when he was like trolling like the league. You know what I mean?
I look at it like both,
but better responsibility though.
Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis are both really talented guys.
Right.
They're both kids that are trying to grow up in an era of football and social media where every action has high scrutiny.
Right.
You're on the champs now. Like everybody's got their eyes on us. There's a reason why, like on a random game, again with a 4:30 game, again with Kansas City and Philadelphia, that the commissioner is at that game because all eyeballs are on us, and that's the thing. But Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, if this is the future of the middle of that line, I gotta say, it's a bright future.
It is.
Their talent combined is dangerous. And James, I remember saying it to you.
Yeah.
In a car going to the EOP studio about Jalen Carter and the possibility of having Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter on the same team. And you said that would be bananas. And I said,
Go
I agree.
berserk.
Right.
Yeah.
And it just, like Damon said, it took a couple years for it to come into its own. It's here. And so that puts a lot of people on notice.
You know
Let's
what the
talk about who
Oh.
it's going to put on notice. Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yep.
This week, the Philadelphia Eagles play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa, the House of Horrors. However, I'm going to tell you that despite the heat and everything else, there is some optimism, and I'll get to that in a minute. James, what were you going to say about finish up what your thought was?
Yeah. I was going to say about the Georgia mentality that they talked about. I mean, the thing that I always respect out of a coach and out of a player is two things: respect and also discipline. Those two things have to happen. The things that Georgia brought to the table is the same mentality Nick Sirianni has now. Obviously, Kirby Smart's doing that with Georgia. And the thing I love about it, too, is that obviously, there is times Jalen Carter is, like I said, is a real dumbass, but sometimes he's still immature, but he's got to find a way to be more mature and also has to keep his discipline. The other thing I have to say is that with Jordan Davis is that I never thought he was a bust. I think he was still trying to find his footing about what he was looking like, and especially he had to lose a little bit of weight in the process. But since he's come alive now, I said to myself, I never doubted him. There was some people doubting Nolan Smith last year around this time, seeing what he had in store. And then after Brandon Graham went down, he became like I always say, he became a jubilation to the team. Yeah. So I think the same thing that's going to happen with Nakobe Dean next week when he comes back after being on IR for 4 weeks. I think the one thing that's going to be a positive that the way we feel about Jordan Davis, I'm going to say the same thing about Nakobe Dean. I think Nakobe Dean's going to come in, and I think it's going to be. Well, I think I'm going to be. Everybody should be anxious to see when Nakobe Dean comes back next week, especially let alone Nolan Smith being out, and also the other Bulldogs who have been nothing short of amazing in these last handful of months and years.
So one of the things I'm going to ask is, okay, the Eagles went down a day early to Tampa Bay. Tomorrow, a 1:00 game, 92 degrees, field-like temperature of 103 on the field, high humidity, muggy. It's going to be a nasty, nasty game. Now, Damon, I'm going to ask you, can this Eagles team beat the Heat and beat the Bucks tomorrow?
Yeah, they could beat the Heat. I like the fact that they left a day early. I wish they would go back and pull out those charts on the pickle juice. They should take some pickle juice. Really?
Come on, sing along. My dad said the same thing along with Baldy, so come on, sing along.
I said this yesterday on Fly Like an Eagle, Damon. We can come up with a vaccine for chicken pox. We can cure a pandemic disease. But we can't figure out an alternative to dehydration than pickle juice.
It worked.
It does work.
I understand that, but with all the technology, we can't figure out a better.
But sometimes those old remedies are the best. That's just me. That's I'm not always into this new stuff. It's just because it's too new, right? As far as the game,
it's amazing. It's amazing to think too. That was 25 years ago, and ever since then, it's become a rabbit hole. Ever since,
yeah. It was the fake. It was the onside kick. That whole game, the whole deal.
Not gonna happen anymore in this day and age. Sadly.
Nah, I like us tomorrow. I like us for a number of reasons. One, Tampa Bay has some injuries, some key injuries, and I think it's a little bit overblown about Todd Bowles having the Eagles number. Reason why I'm gonna give you 2 points. One is, when Jalen Hurts called Wink Martindale, former defensive coordinator of the Giants, and said to him, not last year, the year before last, going into the Super Bowl year, he said, listen, you've been blitzing me a lot. What are you doing? And people was he said, how could he, why didn't he go to the Eagles trainers? I said, no. I said, that's what I like. He called the man himself. The man took his call and explained to him what he was doing. Jalen figured it out. And Joe, you're a stats man. Tell the people, Jalen completions against the blitz last year was like ridiculously flipped from the year prior to, in a positive way.
I believe it was over 80%.
I was going to say 81. You got exactly. It was 81%. So Todd Bowles, bring your blitz. Why I say that, people forget a guy that did not play most of those games by the name of A.J. Brown will be in uniform tomorrow.
That's true.
So when you bring your blitz, and we have to, and Joe, I know you didn't go into it yet, but I know you will, me knowing you, we have to pick up from the second half. We can't go with this, oh, let's get going. No, go out and attack their asses early and often. You have to, and you have the weapons to do it. So go out there, attack early. Jalen, do your half-second release, because that's if the blitz is going to come. Now, once you do that, and we go up, now we get to run Saquon. Now, what are you going to do, Todd Bowles? So I got us. I'll leave my score to the end. But yeah, I got us winning tomorrow.
Yeah. So I said this yesterday on Fly Like an Eagle. This is how I think the Rams game went. The first half, I think, was Coach Kevin Patullo, Coach KP. He was calling the plays. I think he's been calling the plays for the lion's share of the first 2.5 games. I think Jalen saw that the Rams were pounding them, looked at the scoreboard, came back at half, and Kevin Patullo was like, "Okay, guys, this is what we're gonna do." Jalen put up the fingers like, "We're not doing that anymore. We did it your way, and look where it got us. We're doing it my way now. Sit down, coach." Because I think he literally just took over. Because he is a guy who's such a competitor. He's like, I'm not going to lose because this dude don't know how to coach. That this guy doesn't know how to scheme up plays. Look, dude, we have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Let me throw the damn ball. Like, not even like let me throw the ball. Like, this was something I heard. I think it was the Cowboys game. Or no, it was the Kansas City game. Tom Brady was on the call, and I don't like when Tom Brady talks, but he made a very valid point. 11 times in that first half of that Kansas City game, A.J. Brown ran the same pattern. The same exact pattern. And each of the 11 times, it was covered. Kevin Patullo's job is to make sure that he gets his guys open. Why are you sending your best receiver out on a pattern 11 times in a half where it's covered?
Yeah.
Fast forward to the Rams game in the second half. I think AJ, Devontae, Saquon, Jalen, they both were like, can we eat now? Can we eat now? Can we do this? Can we stop with this guy? Like, you get a new offensive coordinator every freaking year, but you're the guy who leads us, so lead us. And Jalen probably, in his own head a little, doesn't want to cost the team the game with turnovers, with costly turnovers. So he gets hesitant, and I understand that. But I think AJ, Devontae, everybody was like, we trust you. If we drop the ball or you throw an interception, we got your back. We got your back. So I think that gave Jalen the license to just let it fly. And I think you're right, Damon. I think there will be a point in the first half where they will let it fly. However, because of the heat, I think the smart play is to wear them down. Because someone like a Villa, he's a fat dude in 103-degree weather. You want to wear that guy down like a boxer in a heavyweight fight. You want to make sure that by the fourth quarter, he's got nothing left in the tank. And so I want to make sure I'm moving him around. So if that's a run game, if that's Jalen doing bootlegs, if that's a read option, if that's a zone read, whatever it is, I want to move that guy's fat ass around. And I wanted to be moving around every damn down. And I want him gassed by the end of the game. I do think that Jalen Hurts in this offense found something, just like they found something last year with the run game and Saquon Barkley after week 4. I think they found something. Now it's going to be about them perfecting something. So, that's going to be an interesting outlook. James, can the Eagles beat the Heat in Tampa, and can they beat Tampa Bay?
Well, before I get to my pointer, my dad brings up a very good solid pointer about this. He says Hurts became 1989's Joe Montana against us when it was Buddy Ryan's defense in the second half. And when he said that, I said to myself, that might actually be that might be as close as it gets. I mean, you think about the John Elway comebacks and the Joe Montana comebacks. That to me was like something historic in my opinion. Um, but to your point though about the Heat being a factor for this Eagles team, I I think it'd be a factor early on to see what they look like they have in store. But I think right after they find their footing, I think it's going to be close to the second quarter and probably towards the beginning of the third quarter. So I think they're going to find their footing just a little bit in the first quarter. I mean, usually the second half is where the Eagles come alive. But I think it's going to take some time to find their footing with the Heat a little bit. But overall, I don't think it'll be that much of a big factor. Going to admit because they've been in saunas the whole week to try to nurse the Heat a little bit. So that's going to be something to keep a close eye on too. But overall, um, it will be interesting what they'll look like with that Heat being a problem. I know I wouldn't be out there because I can't stand the Heat. I know how much I can't go by the Heat. I mean, every time when I think about the Heat, I literally just want to just be nauseous from everything about that. But hopefully the Eagles won't be affected by it tomorrow too. Gonna admit.
Yeah, so from a guy who used to work in the kitchen as a dishwasher or behind the grill,
Sure.
I'm used to being in the heat. I worked in kitchens where it get to 170 to 210 degrees.
Mm.
So you're standing in that. You got to learn how to control your breath. You got to
Yeah. Sure.
learn how to stay hydrated. You got to figure out ways to kind of keep yourself going because it
Hmm.
can drain your energy very quickly if you let it.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, I checked out after Fly Like an Eagle, which, by the way, you could check out on Hardcore Sports Network.
Hmm.
Uh, please subscribe, like, follow, all of that. Um, One of the things I did was I went and checked out another Eagles podcast.
Mm.
And it was interesting because I inserted a question, the same question I asked you and Mitch yesterday, James. And I'll
Hmm.
ask you too, Damon, to tell me who I should fear on the Bucks offense. And the response to that question on the podcast was Bucky Irving,
Hmm.
the running back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bucky Irving, who averages 3.1 yards per carry, has 62 carries for 183 yards or something to that effect.
Hmm.
This guy is averaging less than Saquon, and we know Saquon is struggling out the gates. This is the guy who's their big offensive weapon that I should be fearful of. I literally was laughing because I was like, these guys were making it seem like the Eagles' run defense is not good, which I disagree with.
It's
But
like 32 in the league. Yeah.
what's that?
Like the Eagles defense is like 32
Right,
in the
against the
league
run. Yeah,
against the run. Yeah.
run. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Damon, I'll ask you the same question I asked Mitch and James yesterday, and I asked that podcast yesterday. Who on the I am trying to understand who on this Bucks offense should I be fearing?
Um, I mean, let me see. So we always expect an opponent because they're pros, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, Emeka Egbuka, the rookie wide receiver, is having a decent year so far.
Yeah.
But I think the question is being raised to Joe's point is like, who should they fear as far as Eagles like worrying about? I don't think that. I think the Eagles respect their opponent. I don't think they fear their opponent.
Yeah.
So this is where I am with the Eagles, man. I think we've been in this funk for years as far as trying to be champions, and we won in 17, and then we went back a few years ago against the Chiefs, didn't win it, came up short, and then we won it. But when I look at this team, man, there's no team. I mean, absolutely no team that I, as a fan, worry about. Well, are they going to win every game? Probably not. But the games that I believe they'll win, like tomorrow, They're going to handle their business. And what happens is, see, the Jalen Hurts of the world, I'm gonna keep saying this, and he's already buddies with the guy. He's the Jordan Kobe, but he's not as overt with it. He's a killer, but he's not as outlandish with it as they were. He's like, oh yeah, okay. Oh, that the Commanders are gonna treat me like a running back. Okay. Oh, Todd Bowles is blitz. Oh yeah.
He takes it personal. Like up here, he takes it personal.
But when he talks to the media, he's like, oh yeah, he's got a good defense. But behind the scenes, he's like, I'm gonna slaughter him. I'm telling you. I see it in him. Just like last week when Jordan
kick him in the teeth.
Yeah, he runs back the touchdown. Jalen's walking off the field. He's not cheering or nothing. He's calm. He smiled a little bit, but his demeanor, man, is something that's unique. So he's ours. So yeah, I don't worry when. I don't worry about
it's something. It's something that like Jay Wright was as a leader of Villanova. Like when they won that Chris Jenkins like shot, and he was like,
yeah,
it's like he's like, that's how it's supposed to be all along, you know.
But they're different, man, and it's because of their work ethic. His work ethic is second to none. He studies this, man. I know you guys know the story how he said after they won the Super Bowl, he's at the facility, and he walks by the film room. Who's in there? Jalen Hurts. So I'm like, yeah, I gotta look at my mistakes from the Super Bowl. Are you kidding me? I gotta look. You just won the Super Bowl and the MVP. You're in there talking about, yeah, I gotta find out what mistakes I made. Come on, man. Come on, man.
He's just laser focused, my friend. He's just laser focused, man.
I recommend, because it definitely gives perspective to what Damon's saying. If anybody has a chance to go watch the documentary The Last Dance, it shows
man,
Jordan and behind the scenes, and what Damon's saying is Jordan would say X, Y, and Z to the media, right? But then in the locker room, he's like, I'm gonna break that fool down. Like, that boy thinks he's got me under lock. No.
Yeah,
he said that prior to the Utah Jazz game against Byron Russell. He actually said that in the locker room. He's like, that guy thinks he's got me on lock. You just wait. And that game was game 6, where he crossed over Byron Russell for the game-winning shot.
Wow.
Like, that is an understanding in a guy's head that I am going to own you and you will not have a choice. Then I fast forward to the mic'd up from this past Super Bowl, and Jalen Hurts talking on the sideline saying, you know, the last time I was here in this position against this team, they took my soul. I'm coming to get my soul back. And that was like you might as well hit the trumpets or whatever. That was my perspective, that Jalen's not messing around.
His screenshot was a confetti when the Chiefs won the Super Bowl.
And it still is.
Still is, as a reminder.
So, like, this guy uses his criticism as ammunition. That leads me to my next point. I am putting this out there for everyone to understand. Chris Sims.
I know where you're going.
There you go.
Greenberg, Spike Eskin, any
we're gonna put Joe Giglio on the list too. Giglio, pardon me.
Any quote, Joe DeCameron, the fake hammer, like the idea that that idea
just open up a can of worms.
The idea that Jalen Hurts is not elite. I'm not taking it personally, but let's run it down. When you look at Tom Brady, we could say he's elite. When we talk about Patrick Mahomes, we could say he's elite. Damon, what's the first number that comes to your mind when I say Tom Brady?
Super Bowls.
6 of them, right?
7.
7.
So
Jesus, one for every day of the week. I got you.
Yeah. So here's my thing. So if that's what we're focused on, if we're focused on winning, and we're not worried about how many stats, because Tom Brady definitely had a lot of stats. He broke a lot of statistical records. If you can't rattle off for me what his, career passing yards were, or career completion percentage was, or whatever the record is, how many career touchdowns, then guess what? You're only focused on one thing when you are saying, well, it's the Super Bowls. Then you're saying it's about winning. Here's what I'm saying to all of you out there that are critics. You want to know why Jalen Hurts is elite? Because each and every one of those quarterbacks that you put in front of this man, and you say they are more elite, they are more talented, they are better than Jalen Hurts, he is using as a hit list,
Mm-hmm.
and he is taking one by one down. And he's already started. Matthew Stafford, check. Patrick Mahomes, check. Dak Prescott, check. Baker Mayfield this week, check.
Josh
Later,
Allen.
later
He beat
later
all the
on.
Allens, the Burrows, and the Jacksons. He beat all them
Well,
too.
Yeah, right.
you won't
He
have to
did.
worry. You won't have to worry about Joe Burrow because he can't make it to the football field consistently enough. Okay, Lamar Jackson chokes in the damn playoffs. Josh
He
Allen
was
can't
very
make
slow this week too, Joe.
Josh Allen can't make a fourth down play to win a game. Jalen Hurts, time and time again, can win games. I don't care if it's through the tush push. I don't care if it's through the post route to Devontae Smith. I don't care if it's through a blocked field goal. Here's the bottom line. Baker Mayfield, this Sunday, you will become the next victim of the Jalen Hurts hit list. I promise you, this season isn't just about repeat. It's about respect.
Mm,
And you all will put respect on Jalen Hurts' name
fact,
after this season.
facts. Facts. Facts.
Let's
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
let
And just-
let
Yeah.
let's get to scores. So, Damon, this Sunday, tomorrow against the Bucks, what's your
Mhm.
score prediction for?
So what I'm looking at is a few things. I'm looking at them getting off early, sustaining the drives, of course, defense getting a couple of turnovers. I'm looking at 33-23 Eagles.
Woo, okay. James?
Well, I should tell Damon this too. I was actually close with the score last week with my fly like an eagle prediction with the LA
Nice.
Rams. So I was pretty close. But I think people are starting to steal my thunder a little bit because I heard about it yesterday on WIP, and I think I heard about it on 97.5 instead. They have the same score as I do. But so I'm gonna go with my same score like I did yesterday. I got the Eagles winning tomorrow. They'll go to 4-0. But it's gonna be a little bit closer to the vest, obviously, because of those conditions and the weather. But overall, I got the Eagles winning tomorrow. It won't come down to a field goal. I think it's gonna be like a drive that Jalen Hurts wins the game for them, hopefully. And I said Eagles win 24-20.
Yeah, I'm going to modify my score from yesterday just a smidge. I had them yesterday at 27-23 Eagles. I'm
Mm.
going to modify it to 27-20 Eagles.
Mm.
I honestly think that the Eagles aren't just going to cover, but they're going to put things on notice. Look, Frank Finnegan was on the our last episode, and Frank had said something that, and Damon, Frank, he's got a way somehow of being able to tell the future in a way where you doubt him initially, and then you see it unfolding. You're like, damn, how do
Right,
you
right.
do that?
Just give me a lot of
So,
number while you at it.
but here's what I'm saying: when the Eagles win this game, I am a firm believer in what Frank was saying. This team could go 8-0 into their bye.
Yeah.
And so
Why not?
this is the big bugaboo game. I think they're going, and they all know it. This is a game I think the Eagles had circled on their calendar. I think they're going to treat this like their freaking Super Bowl part two. And so my feeling is it's going to be a touchdown difference game. I think that the heat is going to play a factor. I think the first half is going to seem a little ugly, a little sluggish, a little slow, but
That's the one.
I do think by the fourth quarter, it's whoever has the most gas in the tank wins the game. And I think Jalen Saquon, he's got more Jalen's got more weapons than Tampa. So if AJ's tired, Devontae will pick it up.
Got
if
it.
Devontae's tired, Goddard will pick it up. If Goddard and is tired, Saquon will pick it up. And God forbid if all of them are tired, Jalen will pick it
I
up.
got one for you. Dotson gets a touchdown tomorrow.
Ooh, like it. Love
Dotson
it.
gets a touchdown tomorrow. He's
Well,
Excellent.
I got one for you. Reed Blankenship picks a
Pick.
ball off.
Pick six.
Ooh, I
Pick
like
six.
it.
No,
like
it.
just the pick off. But he takes it to because Reed Blankenship hasn't had a pick six since he picked off Aaron Rodgers when he was still a Packer on my birthday.
I'll go one step further. I think it's going to be Cooper DeJean or Zach Bourne getting another pick tomorrow.
Now, I teased to end the show. I teased yesterday on Fly Like an Eagle that the Eagles could potentially have a big trade for a big time defensive player in the works. Who's that player? Derek Stingley Jr.
Oh, Stingley Jr. From the Falcons?
From the Texans.
I mean,
wow.
And this is why I feel like the Texans, who are now 0-3, will go.
They're gonna win tomorrow.
Will go 0-4, and if they go 0-4, there's going to be heads on the chopping block.
Nah, I need them to win tomorrow.
No. So here's my thing. Derek Stingley Jr. still on his rookie deal, but CJ Stroud's going to have to get paid. They're going to have to make a choice. Is Stroud going to walk, or are they going to start to pay their defensive players? Like Henderson already got his. He already got his bag, but Stingley Jr. is the next one. So if they choose not to pay Stingley because they have to pay Stroud, my feeling is Stingley could be on the chopping block in order to get more draft picks. I could see Howie trading some of those draft picks and possibly going to get a lockstep young corner to pair with both Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell in Derek Stingley Jr. Wait for that in the coming weeks.
So you don't like the Texans over the Titans tomorrow at home.
I think if they lose that game, Damon, I think it's all but done for.
Yeah, but I need
D'Amico Ryans.
For D'Amico Ryans.
No, they'll win tomorrow. They'll win tomorrow.
I just
those games they lost have been close. They've been losing by close points.
Well, yeah, but CJ Stroud's been getting hit 75% of the time that he has had dropbacks. They lost Larry Tunsil to the Commanders. That offensive line has gotten worse. They were the leading. He was sacked the most last season. He's about to break his own record from last season. Like that is a problem. That offensive line, we talk about how he builds through the lines. That's the praise that we should get.
Well, and let's go back to our game last week. You remember Lane goes down, Pryor comes in. He was getting more giggles than Richard. Like he wasn't doing his job.
That's true.
So they put in my man Fred Johnson, who we traded for right before training camp and solidified that right side, and rest is history. So
and like that
Johnson, like Mike Wick said.
That's why offensive line matters. You can have the most athletic quarterback you want, but if you don't have a good offensive line, you're just going to get that guy killed. And I think CJ Stroud is a great quarterback. I just don't think he's in a system or in an organization that wants to keep him healthy. I feel like now I think Deshaun Watson was kind of in a similar situation back in the day with Houston. So I think this is a franchise thing. I don't think this is a player thing. So hopefully the Texans will figure it out. And if not, I would look for Derek Stingley Jr. to be on the trade block because they're not going to be able to re-sign him. So they would want to get assets for him while they can. And
take one of them picks that Howie's got.
Yeah,
I got you.
And look,
the Eagles. Now I don't know if it's necessarily going to be him, but the Eagles are looking for a corner and look for a move by the trade deadline for sure.
Oh yeah, CB2 is going to get upgraded. That is for sure. I feel like we found our safety in June Nakuba. I think Jahad Campbell is a great asset. When James said Nakobe Dean comes back, I would not be surprised if Jahad Campbell goes down to that edge until Nolan Smith comes back.
So Darius supposed to be really good too, man.
And then when Nolan Smith comes back, James, you're gonna have Zach Bond, Nakobe Dean, and Jahad Campbell as your linebackers. And oh, by the way, Junior or
Trot Jr.
Junior's balling.
Waiting in the wings. He's chomping at the bit.
Yep.
So believe me, the hatchet is coming. So I want to first, before we get out here, I want to first thank Damon Saleem for coming on, dude. It's always great talking to you.
Appreciate you coming on, my friend.
Guys, thanks for having me. I really have fun. Always good to get it out of me.
Yes.
Yeah. This is like a group therapy, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
For everyone listening, including Philly halftime, no hard feelings. You can think what you want about the salt and the SWAT, but we have the Schwarber of Slam. But
Schwarbomb.
Yeah. So for James Scores at Damon Saleem, I'm Joe Marks. This is the Patterson Ave Sports Show. Follow Hardcore Sports Network. Subscribe. Stream Punk Entertainment PA. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. And everyone, let's go Birds. Let's go Phils. Hunt for Red October.
Go Birds, go Phils.
Let's get it.
Later.